noches, velocistas. Muy bienvenidos a este Portadores de la SpeedForce muy especial, porque estamos con una leyenda de los cómics. Gente, estamos con un artista que ya lleva más de 30 años en el mercado. Es uno de los grandes artistas de Marvel de los últimos, desde los 90 para acá, hizo lo que se les ocurra. Pero como dije Marvel, obviamente también laburó en DC, porque si no, no estaríamos acá hablando de Flash. Marvel, que esta carita con Marvel no va. Tengo el honor, como siempre, de que me acompañe mi araña favorita, nuestra queridísima Marian de El Divan de los Héroes.
Buena
Marian.
gente. Agus. Yo no puedo creer con quién estamos hablando, con quién estuvimos hablando recién y con quién vamos a estar hablando ahora frente a todos ustedes. La verdad que cuando Agus me contó que había conseguido la entrevista, para mí fue una locura, así que no puedo creer que estamos con el mismísimo Mike Deodato para hacerle una entrevista respecto a la actualidad de Flash, pero por supuesto que también vamos a estar hablando de su trabajo en Spider-Man.
Y obviamente de todo su trabajo anterior, tiene un par de cositas para contarnos. Bueno, switchamos al inglés porque nosotros no hablamos portugués, él no habla español, punto medio, el inglés. We are proud to interview Mike Deodato. Please welcome. Thank you, Mike.
How are you doing?
Great. Well, you have over 30 years on comics in Marvel and DC, but you have an history before that. You start as a little with fun scenes, and I made a little research, and drop here.
Here we go.
A great image. 23 May. We are about 2 months from your birthday.
Oh, it was the year that the first issue of Amazing Spider-Man got out, right? 1963, yes. Another connection with Spider-Man.
I'm 6 years old, my God.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a young. The first of the question that came up with your art especially is, what were your influences? Where you learned to draw? What was your art inspired?
Yeah, my main influence is my own dad. He created the first comic book in my region in Brazil in 1963. By coincidence, the year I was born. And he couldn't make a living out of comic or being a comic book artist, but he would every newspaper he would direct, he would bring a comic book page. He would help the local comic book scene so he would always be doing something to bring the comics in the region to a good level. And so he was always doing something, daily strips for the local newspaper or something like that. So I grew up, saw him drawing, and he bought a lot of comics for me too. And so I decided when I was 13 I would be a comic book artist, and he supported me. When I started doing fanzines, it was 1978. I was 15 years old, and my dad started doing comics together with me, he writing and me drawing. So by working with him, I learned a lot, because he would not write the script in a typewriter. He would do the small layouts with the panels already in place in half of a page, and then from there I would make it bigger and make my own drawings. But just by transferring what he did to a big page, I would learn about composition, about the placement of the balloons, about angles, about everything, about rhythm, about narrative. Everything was there. So without having any formal lesson, or even going to any school, because there wasn't any here.
Right.
I have had a great teacher at home, and he
You
also introduced me to the masters. So a young artist like me would ignore the classic ones. It would go directly to the hottest guy in the of the year. But because of him, he taught me to love Will Eisner, Hal Foster, Alex Raymond, and he explained to me why they were good, why I should like Will Eisner. It's a funny drawing, not what I do. Oh yeah, but then you can see how the angles he used, how the shadows, how he used the depth in every panel, things happening in the first plane, in the second, in the background, in the further away. So how he used the elements of the story to create a rhythm, to mark the time, everything. He was, oh, yeah, there he was explaining it to me, not in a teacher boring way, but in a funny way. See, oh, what is beautiful, and I was, oh yeah.
with
And
passion.
yeah,
Yeah, in a
how,
very
yeah,
passionate
with
way.
passion. How Foster, those incredible, well detailed pages, and the how natural the characters were in every pose. And so I had this privilege of uh, uh, to watch his love for comics and to learn from him.
To the next
So,
generation.
and I had also the pleasure to work with him for about 10 years in Brazilian market. So in the 80s, we did a lot of short stories for small companies in Brazil. It was the payment was ridiculous, but I was living at my dad's, so I had no
You have
worries.
your own show keyword school in home.
Yeah, and then so I did everything, western, science fiction, horror, everything you can imagine. So when I finally had the chance to do something for American market in 1991, I was ready already. I had
Right.
done everything. So it was, I was really lucky to.
So how was it with the American market? How did they contact you to
Yeah,
start?
because first I made kind of a name in Brazil by publishing small companies, and then they in the 1991 they created these agents to represent Brazilian artists in the US. It was called Art and Comics, and they contacted me. They called me, "Hey, want to do something for American market?" Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hello. At that time, I was working in three jobs. I was working in a advertising agents and two newspapers. So it was a lot of work. And then they get gave me this. I think it was 30-page story to be delivered in 30 days. Pencils and inks. So I had to do a miracle to get it done, and then I got it. Then they gave me more and more, and then I was slowly I was quitting my normal job. I was quitting the both. So in the end, I finally had the chance to make a living just doing comics. It was the happiest day of my life when I quit my last normal job. Bye, losers. It was like that, but I hated every minute. It was newspapers. I had a. I didn't graduate from journalism, but I almost. It was only one semester for me to finish, but I decided to quit. But I already worked in the newspapers, so by the law back then, I am considered a journalist. But I really don't like it. I prefer comics.
You make it sound like you were Peter Parker and you just quit J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh yeah,
Well,
just like that.
I have here 3,000 years before
Oh yeah,
uh, with a script for your dad and your drawings.
1983. I remember I was living at my dad's, and I always go to, but Dad, I want to do a big album, science fiction, something very like a big budget sci-fi movie. And then I remember he would go to his room and start smoking, and like half, 1 hour, half an hour later, he would go with 5 page, 7 page. I was, oh, cool. And then I would draw in the weekends, because during the weekdays I was either working or studying,
Yeah,
so journalism. So, but it was fun. I didn't have to worry about paying things. I just had to draw.
it was well, start like a passion from
Oh
home,
oh,
transmitted as
yeah.
passion.
Oh,
And it sounds
it's
like an education, even though it wasn't formal. You were like exercising all the time.
yeah. It's comics is something I really really love. Every time I see something new, or even old, I'm so happy to see new things, to see how an artist solves a problem, or how creative he is in using an angle, or the storytelling he chooses to for that particular sequence. So many things to learn from every. Eduardo Risso that was talking to you guys about it, who is Argentina, and the hell of a guy. He's a genius. He's a genius. I try to study his work like I do with everyone I love. Uh, for instance, I studied uh, the work of Neil Adams for years, and finally I cracked him down the best I could. Okay, but I couldn't crack everything that Eduardo does, because it's so many graphic solutions, so many innovations, so many that I had to give up. To give up. I learned what I could, and then I gave up. That's enough. I'm gonna spend my rest of my life studying this guy.
Eduardo is one of the greatest artists from here. We are
Oh, yeah.
proud of him as an artist and him as a resourceful guy who managed to make a convention of comics in a city that's not Buenos Aires, which give us every year. We said a church from comics.
Yeah.
We travel every year to Rosario with a
Uh,
lot of friends and to meet a lot of great artists. I hope you came one day.
I hope.
Here, Alan said. We hope we came to Argentina and also Europe. He's in Spain now. We he will watch us in the replay after. Alan, thank you. Manga is a luxury from a guest. It's like and subscribe if you didn't do it. And Danny from Fletes Geek, say hello. And Leandro, very very good interview. A luxury from having Mike. Thank you guys. Well, I was watching a little, and this was one of your first works in the US. In the US, the novelation from a CBS series, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that one. uh, I kind of learned how to paint during while I was in the book, because the editor, Dave Campiri, he wanted me to do the book. He asked me to ask my age. Oh, he paint? And I said yes. I didn't know, but I was learning something, to use airbrush at the advertising company I was working with. So if you see the first issue to the last one I did, how it progresses and gets
Yes.
better, because I was learning.
Yeah, we had a lot of changes on your art alongside the timeline, and it was amazing how the art progress alongside the time. In
Yeah,
the
I like to keep learning, to keep changing if possible, or if, because depending on the project, they hire me because of my style, so it's not possible. But every time it's possible, I will do. I'm working on a new project that I cannot reveal, unfortunately, uh, where I'm trying to get back to my roots, or from my earliest influence, that was Frank Frazetta. I'm trying to do a more organic work, like more brushing kind of work, more organic, more soft. Uh, so you see, a shame I
we
cannot.
will we will know we will know in the future.
Yeah,
We won't ask uh, songs.
Even though we're dying to, we
Yeah,
won't.
I'm thinking 3 or 4 questions. I won't do it. Uh, and well, we came to the big ones. The big
oh yeah.
ones. The start with the gods. Thor here on the 93, maybe. I
I
lost track. Maybe
I think
93.
it's 1988 or 1997, I guess.
Okay. I will see. It's here
1990. I don't know.
maybe with what Lev with no Celis. Wait, my mistake. I mistake with Wonder Woman. With Ellis, an amazing work of art from you on Thor of all the mythology.
Yeah, I love this store because it was my first work with Warren Ellis, another genius. And I love the take on Thor on this one, because he made him, instead of a god, he made Thor and the whole mythology behind it. He made them aliens instead,
Mm.
and made them scary. And it was great. It was amazing. It's a shame they didn't gave it continuity to this storyline, because I loved it.
Yeah, it was Beta Ray Bill. Had a lot of the aliens as guardians. It was amazing. I make a pic a few days ago.
And it's also a very good like character for you because you're really like good with the human shape and muscly guys. And even though they're very muscly, it's not like abnormal. Like you would see a superhero looking like that, and it's not like abnormally like those drawings in the 90s where like Venom was like this monster, like ginormous. You make muscly figures, but they're still like very human like figures.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was a bit more over the edge,
Yes.
but it was fun. It was fun. The 90s were everything was over the top. Like
Yes.
the colors of the clothes, it was yellow lemon, and it was those things in the shoulders you use, and the hair that you look like a poodle, and those mullets, and everything was over the top. And so the comics too. It
Yeah,
was fun. It was fun.
it was an interesting era. Well, we have here three covers from you: Avengers, Fury for Marvel Knights, and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, three different periods:
Exactly.
90s, 2000s, and 2020s, or
Yeah,
19. I don't know.
exactly.
This
19.
last cover, one of the last I did for Marvel.
Oh, uh, check. Just for that, I was putting these three covers from three different era, and here is when it's we could see develop, the evolving from your art. It's amazing. In every step, you have something different and something new to add, and it's great.
Do you now work digitally?
Oh yeah, I work with uh, this little thing here on
Nice.
iPad. I think it's better for me. I can go everywhere inside the home, wherever my family is, I'm there. And uh, I use a software called Clip Studio Paint.
Mhm.
I can only use the basic, but it's made for doing comics. Amazing, and the brushes really look like you are drawing with a real brush and a real pen.
Do you
And
prefer working digitally than like in pen?
yeah, I like both. I like
Mm,
both, but it's easier. It's faster,
right.
and comics is a medium that you need to be fast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like comparing movies with soap operas or series. More soap opera because you have to produce a, episode every day, and so you cannot make a mistake. You cannot change your mind. No, if you make a mistake, it's goes. There is no. So it's a very urgent kind of medium. And but I like the rush. I like that. Uh, I don't think if I had too much time to do a book, I would do two books instead.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, moving with Marvel again, you have
Yes,
a different eras.
different eras. 90s. I think Dark Avenger was 2009. Invisible Iron Man, I think it was 2018, maybe, or 17.
Yeah,
And Spider-Man was 2004.
yeah. That Spider-Man get at the end, but well, the other was printed here with a collection, not your art here. Wait,
I
may
think it's
focus.
Via Ringo. Via Ringo.
Yeah, Waringa.
Yeah.
Here, Waringa. But this is the number one, and have the amazing Spider-Man from you here. This is the Clarín collection for Marvel from Spider-Man. I
I remember I killed Spider-Man in the end of the other, I guess.
here
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
May. This side. This is your
Ah,
story.
yeah, Aunt May.
It's a nice story. You get
And I got this
well.
one with your
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
this one. Yes. This is from the US though, from the
I
Ultimate Collection.
I can even smell the book from here. I love,
Yes,
I love the smell
a really nice
of the
smell.
paper.
You know, something that I've always felt about how you told the Spider-Man story, you have like a very cinematographic way of telling the story. And you also play a lot with the lighting. You have like always like the shade in one side of the face and then the lighting in the other side of the characters' faces.
Yeah, kind of like this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. That's Will Eisner influence. Paul Gulacy, Jim Steranko, Master of Shadows, Al Williamson. I think shadows are a good way to communicate state of mind and suspense, and they have their own uh, story inside another story. You can tell a lot of things just by playing with shadows, and so anytime I can, I use them. Even if you are in the middle of the day, daylight, I put shadows.
There are shadows. Well, Marian, will you start?
Yes.
Well,
Well,
after this, we going right to the bone with the one of the great art here.
Yes, I have the Spanish version. It's from Spain. This Marvel saga with the 6 issues of Sins Past, or Pecados del Pasado, as we know it in Spanish. And
Oh,
this is issue, I think it's number 3. Yeah, it's
The
part 3.
number 3,
Yes, part 3, the
the
US
American issue.
issue. And first of all, before getting into the story, I wanted to ask you, how was it to work with J.M. Straczynski? He was the first writer that I read on Spider-Man with John Romita Jr. And I've always loved how he portrayed Peter Parker and how he wrote him, and not only his dialogues but also his thoughts. And I think it's very present in this story as well, how he thinks and how he's like very neurotic about everything that's going on. So I wanted to ask you, how was it to work with him?
So yeah, to work with his script was great because he's a great writer, and I love how he can play with right emotions. I think he's even better writing emotions, human connection, and it was a chance for me to play with my strengths of watching so many soap operas in Brazil. So I had the chance to do very big close-ups and the details of the lips and stuff. It was very good to have the chance to use these ways to tell a story. And as for working with him in person, I usually don't communicate much with writers. First, because I'm a foreigner and there is the language barrier, the culture, and I'm shy. So I don't talk much. So it's rare when I connect with somebody. But we started with a left foot because uh, I was doing, I think Witches was being finally launched at the time, because I did it in 2000 and I stopped, and they was launching it again finally. And then I wanted to promote it. So in the Peter Parker's room, I put a lot of posters with witches and something, and he didn't like it. So in the next script, it was, and then in Peter Parker's room, that there is no posters of witches or nothing referring to witches or anything. Okay, I got it. But when I came to, I worked with him also in Dream Police. It was a creator-owned project, great project I did with him. But I only had the chance to talk to him when I came to AWA Studios and we did The Resistance. Then we could talk more. A great guy, fantastic. So yeah, we buried the hatchet, as we say.
And how was it for you when you read the script? How did the story like came to be, and then how was it for you like when you received it here in Argentina? It's always like spoken about like it's a very disturbing or at least shocking story. When I read it, for me, I thought it was really interesting, and I was one of the persons that said that I really like it when stories challenge the characters and put them in like different positions that you didn't think before. And so I want to know how was for you when you received it and you said, whoa, I have to like draw Gwen Stacy with Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Well, I'm from a time when Gwen was not that good girl. She was a bitch to him. The time when Steve Ditko drew her in the in college, so she was not that good girl. She was very mean actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't care, to be honest. I like a good story. I like you said, I like when the character is put in a position of he out of balance, that he has to to reinvent himself. Or I like when the character is in trouble. I like one because otherwise it's boring. So yeah, I saw more as a chance to do a great comic book work visually, then it didn't affect me at all. It was just a story where Peter Parker was suffering one more time. The- He's one of the characters that more suffers in the history of comics.
Yes.
So yeah, so who cares if he's a cook now? Who cares?
Was the story written entirely by Straczynski? Did the editors have a put in, and did you have any pitch for the story, or was it entirely the writer?
Oh no, I don't like to have writers give me opinions about how I draw, so I don't give you opinion how they write. So,
Right.
Both sides.
yeah.
Well, it's wait, here. It's an amazing story, and we here in the third image, the third issue, we have a son of Gwen Stacy. For those who don't read, who haven't read since past, the daughter of Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn, and Peter Shocking of the all the history of what happened here and why when had twins with Osborne and when happened, and it's all the development of the story is it's amazing, and the art surprisingly is um, like no me sale la palabra acompañando es like
Goes along with.
goes along with the story and all the shadow that we talked ago.
Yeah.
It are just in place.
And that's something I really liked about the art here, and it's a good like my opinion goes along with Flash as well. I think that the writer that you're working with in Flash has a lot of text because of the kind of story, and there's a lot of dialogue and thought, and with in this story particularly you have a lot of drawings that go along without the text, because you're telling the story with the drawing. You don't need that much explanation. Straczynski does it when Peter thinks a lot, but there's a lot of just your art, like showing, like if it was like cinematography, like showing the scene and MJ looking up and she sees the nest right up in the ceiling. And I think that it goes along because it's really powerful. Yet you don't need any words. You just see and you understand. And I think also whatever's going on in the story just shows that Peter and MJ are like such good people and so human that they're okay to go along with saving Gwen's children, even though Peter is not their father.
Yeah, that's what I love about Stravinsky, the human connection, the feelings. I already told this story. When I was doing the Resistance, there is a scene in the hospital where the mom and dad they decide that their daughter is dying, and they decided to go into the room even though they are gonna catch the same disease and die too. It's a powerful scene. And while I was reading the script for my wife, because I started crying just because I was reading to my wife. So you see how powerful, how good he is on writing feelings. So it was a great opportunity I had to work with these sequences of Peter and Mary Jane suffering and fighting, and it was great.
And remaining very human, like very good people. It's like
Yeah.
when the stakes are very high, you see the essence of a person and what they decide to do. It talks a lot about them and how they view life. And I think that this story particularly, even though you can say, oh, but how did Gwen do that to Norman, I don't think, even though it happens, and I think it's really interesting, I don't think the story is just about that, but also about showing the really like human connection between Peter and Gwen, and how MJ goes along with that, and she's able to carry on, and she tells him that like she knew the secret. And you also see MJ as a very powerful character because she's, you know, she kept that secret from Peter, just like Peter keeps secrets from everyone. She was also a very good friend, and like went with it even though Gwen was dead for many years.
Yep. I was remembered what was the name of the actress I used as a reference. She was the she was the daughter of the guy from Aerosmith.
Liv Tyler.
Oh, Liv Tyler, yeah. And Peter was Jason Priestley from that series. It was in Brazil as Barrado no Baile. I don't know.
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, yeah.
Wow, yes, he was.
And of course, Norma Osborn was. I forgot the name. Yeah, blink now.
Do you always use like actors or people you know as references for your characters?
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. Yeah, I liked that because it's like I'm a director casting my movie,
Right.
and it gives. I actually learned to enjoy that because of Paul Gulacy. He did that with Master of Kung Fu in the 70s. Bruce Lee was Master of Kung Fu, and there was also Paul Newman and Marlon Brando. Everybody was there. It was so great to see that. So, okay, I want to do that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great. And well, you have a short span on DC, a short maybe for now, and start. Well, not here. Start not here. Start. Okay, wrong. Well, here.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That flash you showed, I did the inks on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I created.
Wait. But
Yeah, these covers I did before I even do Wonder Woman. The inks for Flash I did before Wonder Woman. It was a question of 1 month. Yeah,
These are the
the
inks.
actor didn't like the pencils and asked me to try to save the story. Oh yeah, sure, let me try. And those covers were done before my I start on Wonder Woman.
It was one of the longest run on DC. It's the longest run on DC. You have for Wonder Woman, you have the contest with Messner Lev from number 90 to 100, almost 30 numbers, and
Yeah,
zero.
yeah, I think I did number 87 first, and then 90 to through 100, then a couple of annuals, I guess,
Yeah.
later in 2000, and then did some Batmans. I think, yeah, that Flash, a lot of covers, and that was it. And then I came back last year to do Flash again.
A lot of years later.
Yeah, a lot of it. But it was the same colorist, my
Yeah,
friend Patricia Hill.
Move Hill.
Great colorist, and it was good to be reunited.
And well, we reach the end of the timeline here with the Flash. With you start on a short story on the Flash 800.
Yes, the last 10 pages.
Yeah,
Yes.
like a prelude to volume 6.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time doing this. It is a great story. It's reminded me of those that Gardner Fox did in the 60s. There was always a bit of sci-fi background on those stories, and this time there is also terror that I love it. When I was a kid, every time I was afraid of a nightmare or something, I thought about a hero coming to save me, like Iron Man and beating the monsters and so. So, and I loved those stories that Stephen Englehart did with Captain America and Falcon fighting monsters like the werewolf is. I love that time Jack Kirby did Superman fighting vampires in Transylvania or something like that. It was such a weird. I love when they mix superhero and horror. So it was great.
It's the first time we had an horror story inside the Flash, and well, Simon Spurrier is known for that kind of stories on Detective Comics and make things like Coda, but the science fiction here and the in your art combines so good. See,
Yeah.
it's what's meant to be. Here I
Thanks.
have the different speedsters, Wally, uh,
Yeah,
Bart,
I felt
Max
very
Mercury.
very
Mark.
comfortable doing Flash and his family. It was like I was born to do that. Sometimes I don't know I love a hero till I draw. I found out I love X Men by coincidence. I was doing some fill-in issue for X Men, and hey, I love to draw this guy. So I didn't know I love him so much. So yeah, I felt very at home.
No, it's great to know you enjoy the character,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
important.
here it's one of the things that I don't know if I should ask you in
Yeah,
live,
sure.
so I asked you earlier, but here the personification of Wally West was
Chris Evans.
Chris
Yes.
Evans
Chris
and
Evans. His wife is Maggie Q,
Maggie Q.
and there is more, but I don't remember the other character, which ones I used. But I like to cast actors. I like to. It's like a homage I do for great actors. I hope they don't sue me.
Nah,
But also,
I
as we said before, your storytelling is very cinematographic, so it makes sense that you'd cast your actors for your
Thank you.
own type of
And
stories.
at Flash, I used a technique that I have been developing since Berserker Unbound, since that original sin saga I did for Marvel, which is these panels that are crossing each other and forming like a puzzle in the page.
like a grid.
It's influence from Jim Steranko, the work he did on his adaptation of Outland for heavy metal,
Hmm.
and a bit what Chris Bacalo did in Death. And so I adapted it for me. I think I created a kind of uh, paneling, the layout for paneling that it's very. I think it's very original and
Yes.
kind of my mark nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
I maybe get tired of this at some point, but for now I'm having fun.
And it goes really good with the story because it gets a lot into the Speed Force lore and into a lot of math and science and geometrical stuff. And I think it goes really well with what you put inside, the panel. Also, how you lay it out. It's also like very interesting to the story and how the story is told.
I use this style also in Not All Robots. The one I got the Eisner. Yeah, I got an Eisner. Woo.
We got an Eisner winner.
Yes.
Woo.
Well, here, Senshi Source said, I seen he used their own photos as reference, and he's doing martial arts as a artist. Understand martial arts surely helps him the time to understand how the body works.
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't. Usually, I don't draw the fighting like I would fight, or it would happen in a real fight, because it wouldn't be very attractive. Uh, because you see, even in Bruce Lee movies, you see those kicks, round kicks and stuff. He wouldn't fight like that in a real fight, but it works for the screen. So we have to make a mixing of real fight with short punches and stuff, with some very um, beautiful shots, like the leg go
I've
up
always really liked
there.
this fight that you drew here in Scenes Past. Speaking of which, when Peter is at the graveyard with Gabe, and
Oh
when
yeah, this is of course Frank Miller influence.
yes,
But yeah, you have to. The only time I saw a real fight work in comics was with what's the name? Man, of course, yeah, I'm not gonna remember. It's uh yeah, I'm not gonna remember. If I remember, I'd say.
That's no problem.
But the guy drew fighting like in real life, and it worked in comics was, oh my god! So it can be done. But usually I do some very stylish stuff. Very for I saw a movie, that one, the Irishman. With
yes,
The Irishman.
yeah, because usually even in movies you see when a guy is gonna shoot a bullet, he does like that, very theatrical. Whoa! And then I saw Robert De Niro. He comes walking to the guy and does this. And you go, wow, it's fantastic. It works. It can be done. So he's a great guy. He can do anything. But it was like in real life. You don't want to show the guy who's gonna fit. You got to do it. You shoot and then go and
Effective,
yeah,
not theatrical.
effective. Yeah. So I need to try to incorporate that kind of thing in my fights, to do something that is it works in real life, yet at the same time it's attractive too. So
right.
Uh, It's well, your covers, your cardstock covers for the run. It was for every character. We had Mirror Master, the Stillness, this entity. It's creating this volume, a folded man. The
yeah, I hate myself. I have to create a character with 1,000 lines. But I think that the other artists hate me more. The one.
Because you have
you
to keep
created,
doing it.
you draw it.
On the other hand, I did this guy, the paper guy, the paper guy. It's more easy to draw. So it was great too, because I had the chance to create new characters, really new characters. There's no old ones, and I had the chance to create new visuals for old ones. So it was really fun to do
Yeah,
this.
the your version of Grodd was
Oh yeah,
great.
everybody loves to draw gorillas, right?
And the helmet.
Yeah. So it
And
was great.
well, here the helmet with Grodd, the uncoiled, the
Yeah.
alien, and that's the flash image that I saw you
Oh,
posing.
yeah, that's the one I did on paper. I usually don't draw on paper anymore, but because it was my first image, okay, I'm gonna do this on paper.
Wow.
Wow.
And you pass it to digital or
Yeah, no, I do on paper, and then I digitalize, I scan it. But usually I just go right digital. All the others are digital only.
all the eyes are made on digital, or you draw the eyes and then
No,
digitalize them?
everything is on paper,
Paper.
Wow.
Wow.
except for the eyes, because I didn't know the eyes should be white. So in the paper it's the eyes like Barry Allen's. You can see the eyes. I And then I
Ah.
had to do a patch digitally for white eyes.
Wow. And what? Oh, next, your next releases, covers from Conan the Barbarian, Silicon Bandits. That's maybe June.
This corner is not mine. I did the more recent one cover.
Oh, here. Oh, well, it's a mistake from from a page that this is
No,
that's your Conan.
yeah, it's the other variant. The colors for this flash is from a friend of mine called João Canola, very promising young colorist.
Right.
Same thing for Silicon Bandits. You can see in Silicon Bandits, my style is starting to get more soft. I think see the newest one I did was for I think was for Boom, the Boom Publishing. I don't remember the name of yeah, but you see, I'm starting to use more brushes. I'm specifically looking for brushes that imitate paper.
Yeah.
Instead of looking for the perfection of the digital brushes, I'm looking for imperfection.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Well, it's an amazing journey to your story, and well, was you were saying the changes you made to yourself to improve and not get bored.
Yeah, yeah, it's because it's so much to learn, so little time. It's so good, man. I wish I had more time to learn more things, but yeah, you do what you can.
Now it's just
But
amazing, and
comics is fascinating. It's so many things you can do with comics. It's so yeah, and it's so easy in a way. It's easier than you get producers and sponsors to do a big movie, and it's just you. If you write just you and you writing in a paper, and that's it. All you need, and that's what I say easy, but it's not easy. It's so difficult to do comics, and it's fun. It's so good. I love it.
It does
well,
really sound like you enjoy it. Like it's your
Yeah,
work, but it's also, as you told us from your story with your father and everything you say, like you watch something, you watch a movie, and you like relate it immediately to something that you can create in the comic, and so it really looks
yeah,
like you have it inside of you.
yeah. We. I wouldn't trade anything, even if it pay more, like doing storyboards for movies. I don't want that. I like to suffer.
you're the Peter Parker of comic book artist. I like to
Yes.
suffer. Well, we only have words of gratitude with you.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for having this little chat with you,
My
with us,
pleasure.
and we have the thank you very much.
Thank you, really.
Really thank you. It was an honor for us having such a great artist with a great history behind, just a legend of the comics, and it's an honor for us.
Thank you. You see, I even dressed like a human. I am not wearing those.
The eye shoulder pads, the shoulder pads from the 90s.
Yeah.
Here,
Okay.
here
Thanks, guys. It was great. Anytime you want to talk, just call me.
it's amazing.
Thank,
Thank you.
Right.
He-
thank you.
Here, here, Mangaku said we wait you on the crack bamboo on Rosario. So
You can talk to
mail
Eduardo Rizzo, and we would
mail
gladly
to
have.
Rizzo,
I have a lot of Spider-Man comic books for you to sign.
and on my flash, and on my flash.
I hope to go there someday.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Muchas gracias a todos por estar acá. Gracias a Senshi, que también se las pasó por acá. Ricardo, Matías, Atuel, a Diego, querido de Mitos, Esteban, que llegó tarde, pero muchísimas gracias a todos los que pasaron por esta hermosa entrevista que tuvimos con Mike Deodato. Muchísimas gracias, Mike. Muchísimas gracias, Marian, por estar acá.
Gracias
Nos
a vos,
vemos
Agus. Gracias a vos.
el martes, que vamos a estar hablando de Dragon Ball, sí, que tenemos nuestro club de lectura. No te olvides que es este martes, Marian. Thank you again, Mike.
Thank you so
And,
much.
como siempre digo, no se pierdan en la SpeedForce.